Hey fam, just wanted to check in tonight and talk a little bit about a few different things. And one of the things I wanted to talk about is when people try to encourage you to censor your experience because the truth of what you endured makes them uncomfortable. With all due respect to the people that would want me to do that, I'm not going to do that. My well-being and my needs were not a considered factor in the treatment I received, and I am a firm believer in do unto others as they do unto you. So as far as I'm concerned, if people didn't want me to speak on what they've actually done, then they should have conducted themselves in a better manner when it came to the way that they treated me. This is a little bit repetitive because I've touched on this subject before, but there are people that are trying to encourage me to edit my experience because certain aspects of what they did to me, when I vocalize that, it makes them uncomfortable. I don't care. You should have done better. You should have done things differently. And if you go through even a modicum of the shame that you made me endure unjustifiably, then I feel like that's deserved. And it's not my place to censor my experience because it makes you uncomfortable for me to speak the truth of what was done to me. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about this today. And I want to talk about the importance of expressing yourself as a means to process through trauma that you've suffered from. It is well documented that if you hold in the emotions of past experiences rather than processing them, it will only bleed into any future relationships that you have. For myself, I don't really consider that an issue because I don't plan on getting into any relationships. But having said that, I still understand the importance of processing through previous trauma so that I'm not dumping that on other people, because it's not fair to them that I should carry those wounds into every other interaction that I have with people. And as someone who has seen people do that to me numerous times, I'm well aware of what that looks like, and I'm well aware of what that feels like to have somebody projecting their trauma onto me because they see me as some form of catch-all for their stuff. They see me as a dumping ground for their stuff, and that is not my role. If you're confused about that, then I suggest you seek some clarity about that. As far as people watching my content that have made it a point to have little to no contact with me for nearly a decade, I mean, feel free to watch. I'm not about to stop you, but I do find it kind of interesting that you can't communicate with me one-on-one, even though those attempts were made on my end, and you want to post things publicly in an effort to contradict my life experience. I don't know what sort of narrative you're trying to spin or how you're trying to flip what actually happened, but whoever is putting these comments in my threads, I just want you to know that I have no way of verifying that you are the person you claim to be from a message on my video. I have no way of verifying that you are the person that is trying to get something across to me in that message. If you are somebody that was a part of my life and you want to express something to me, I would encourage you to, if you remember where home is, I would encourage you to stop by or send a letter or something along those lines. Because after such a long period of time of no contact, it's highly inappropriate of you to try to tell me to edit my life experience. And if in fact it was you that posted that message, I will always love you. And I will always wish you the best. I do not have to censor my experience as it pertains to other people that are still intertwined in your life. I'm not required to do that. If it makes you uncomfortable that I'm speaking the truth of what happened to me, if it makes you see that experience differently, then perhaps that is the awakening that is necessary for you to fully understand what I went through. And from the verbiage in the communication, I'm not 100% sure that I was speaking with who you claim to be. So, having said that, the only way for me to really know for certain would be for you to contact me in a way that I could verify who is communicating with me. Because I've been subjected to so much unreasonable public slander and private slander, I have my guard up when it comes to that nonsense, and I don't trust that who you claim to be is who you are, unless you can actually produce yourself and speak what you said in that communication in person. If you choose to do that, then that would be a different conversation. But I'm not a big fan of creating a profile the day of a communication and posting something and not facilitating any means of communicating back. And perhaps that's how you intended it to be. Whatever the case may be, it is not my responsibility to regulate your emotional state. You are, if it was in fact you that reached out to me, you are going to be an adult soon. And I certainly hope that you can interpret your life experience through your personal life experience, rather than letting your emotional state be regulated by the emotional states of other people. I say that lovingly because I know what it's like to try to make everyone happy at my own expense. And because I'm no longer willing to do that, because it costs me everything, I hope you can understand that I will always love you. I may not agree with every choice that you make for yourself, but that doesn't stop me from loving you. And as far as my life experience, I gave birth to a boy and I gave birth to a girl. And in my life experience, that will never change. It does not mean that I love either of my children any less just because they don't want to live the life experience that God dictated for them. Perhaps with age and maturity, they will not feel the same way. I've done what I've been able to do to try to have an impact before my ability to continue to have a positive impact was obfuscated from me. And at that point, any negative feelings that you have at this point in time, because of the length of time, I think you need to reflect on your surroundings and consider that those are the catalyst for your unhappiness. I wish you all the best. I hope that someday you'll wake up to the truth.